Proceed, Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker,
Proceed, Senator Sifuna, so that we make use of the limited time.
I think, Honorable Chair.
Let's proceed. Proceed, Senator Sifuna. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Senator Fernande, please take your seat. You're scheduled. I'll call you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think members have forgotten that there was an advisory that priority would be given to the senators who asked questions, and then we will hand over the CS for supplementary questions. If I'm not wrong, Honorable Speaker. My question is number 93. Honorable Speaker, I want the CS to address 3 questions. Actually, there are 4, and these questions originated from a meeting with the Karen Langata Residents Association. Honorable Speaker, can the CS tell this House what is the current progress of works on the Ruto'S railway line project, whose construction was commissioned in 2023? Secondly, could the Cabinet Secretary provide comprehensive details on the rationale for initiating the project, including the source of funding, the design framework, feasibility studies conducted, environmental impact assessment, and the economic justification supporting its implementation? Thirdly, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a financial and cost-benefit comparison between the proposed Ruto'S railway line and the alternative option of dualling the Bomas Rongai to Kiserian section of Magadi Road and the Ngong Karen section of Ngong Road? And finally, Honorable Speaker, what is the current status of compulsory land acquisition by government for the Ruto'S railway line project, and how will the associated land acquisition cost affect the overall project budget and implementation timelines? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You may proceed, Honorable CS.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond. The transport sector is recognized as a key pillar and a critical enabler in achieving Vision 2030 long-term development strategy and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Development of efficient transport system, honorable members, in rural and urban areas is therefore key factor in supporting the country's development strategies. I wish to indicate that for this particular project, the source of funding for the project is purely the government of Kenya. The government, through the Kenya Railways Corporation, conducted a feasibility study that resulted in the development of Nairobi Commuter Master Plan 2019. The master plan identified key commuter line corridors for development and modernization within Nairobi metropolitan area. The key identified corridors forming the core network are Kikuyu Limuru, which is currently existing under the meter gauge railway, Riruta Thika, which also exists today with a meter gauge railway, Lukenya, Kitengela, Konza, also existing, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is proposed, Embakasi Village, which is existing, and Riruta Ngong under implementation from Riruta to Ngong. Riruta Ngong commuter line, which will be linked to the revitalized Nairobi railway station, is also one of the commuter lines identified as critical transport infrastructure under the prioritized integrated transport system for decongestion of Nairobi metropolitan area. The rationale, honorable members, behind preference of the commuter rail over land transport is that commuter rail is for mass transport, and therefore the carbon footprint is what we all desire today. And where one commuter train carries about 6,600 passengers, both standing and sitting, which is equivalent, honorable members, to about 460 14-seater matatus, and that is one way of decongesting our city. I have just indicated where you can get that master plan, and in today's time of technology, if you go to that site, you'll be able to see the master plan. I wish to indicate, honorable members, that for this particular project, the source of funding, like I've said, is purely the government of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards environmental social impact assessment study The same was conducted in line with the Environmental Management and Coordination Act 1999. Attached herewith is annexed to it a copy of NEMA's license number NEMA/EAI/PSL/35081. I also wish to add that the project is being implemented under the engineering procurement construction basis with an independent consultancy for design review and construction supervision in place. On the second question, Honorable Speaker, members, in order to enhance the economy of the country, mobility of the citizenry is key, and the transport sector acts as a key enabler for economic growth. The land is a finite resource, therefore the aim of the ministry is to ensure both railway and road transport modes complement one another instead of competing or compete with one another. Given the finite nature of the land, the ministry aims to promote use of mass rapid transport, normally MRT in Nairobi metropolitan area. The two modes being pursued are commuter rail transport and the BRT transport. And I can talk more about that because we just came back from the UK where we are looking at the UK fund to do the Nairobi Railway City, and we are specifically focusing on these corridors to be able to move people quickly out of the city and into the city and be able to decongest. Construction cost is Kenya shillings 8.1 billion. For construction cost, we have about 8.2 billion, 8.26 billion. Land acquisition will cost us 2.8 billion. We are acquiring land in very expensive areas through that current corridor. Land acquisition cost, including protection, relocation, and existing utilities, as I've indicated there, will be significantly expensive. On the next question on what is the status of the compulsory land acquisition, Honorable Speaker, Chair, the total length of the Ruto-Ngong commuter line is approximately 13 kilometers. The ownership of the section traversed by the proposed railway line, we have given a schedule attached, and the length of the railway track ownership of the land and so on and so forth, I've captured there 2.4 kilometers with Kenya Railways as available corridor. We don't have to, we already have that. 0.55 kilometers is with Kenya Forestry Service, and we need to acquire wayleaf. 0.3 kilometers is with the Kenya National Highway overpass across the Southern Bypass. 4.55 kilometers is with Kenya Urban Roads that we need to be able to share jointly. 1 kilometer is with Kenya Broadcasting Station, and which we need to acquire. 0.9 kilometers is with the National Academy, National Police Academy, and which we need to then acquire. Fortunately, that is intergovernment. 2.1 is with the Vet Farm Department, and 1.35 kilometers is private acquisition or land acquisition process, which is ongoing by the National Land Commission, and that some gazettement has been done. Gazette number 7418, the Kenya Gazette volume CXX V11 number 119 dated 5th June 2025 for inquiry. You can see, Honorable Sifuna, that is fairly current, and some work is being done. Let me just hasten to add that with the Nairobi Railway City having been pronounced by the leadership as a priority project to be able to recalibrate and give new life to that piece of 438 acres of land sitting with the Kenya Railways. We do not only wish to build the new railway terminus, we will update or upgrade the platforms for all these lines to come in and out of the city. We will build a public realm for the people arriving at a capacity of 30,000 persons per hour. And to a very good extent, therefore, if we did the Nairobi Railway City alone without doing all the lines that I've talked about into Kikuyu, Ruiru Thika, Lukenya, Jomo Kenyatta, and Bakasi Village, to be able to bring in people in and out quickly, it will not be. So we do not wish to do a stranded investment in upgrading the Nairobi Railway City without doing the supporting BRT and the commuter rail. And therefore, we are taking all this as a package. And therefore, the project that we are talking about through the Ruta, which already has a contractor on the ground, I think CRBC, is one project which is already taken off. And we are going to pay attention to make sure that we decongest the city, we move people out of the city for residents out there, and be able to expand the economy, as it were, by moving people in and out very quickly. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, CS. Senator Sifuna, do you have a supplementary question? Do you want to ask both of them now?
Yes, in fact, Honorable Speaker, I do have.
Yes.
The Cabinet Secretary has given me a 2019 report, but I was meant to believe that there was another report funded by the World Bank in 2017, a consultant funded by the World Bank that actually ranked this Gongri Ruta line as the least priority in terms of construction of railways in this city. Honorable Speaker, I have a few issues. You know, I have publicly said that this is one of the few CSs, if not the only CS that I have respect for, because he takes his work seriously. But I can see here in his response, he has made an allegation here that one commuter train is supposed to carry 6,600 passengers, and that is an advantage over road construction. Honorable Speaker, in this same report of his, at paragraph 39, your report, Honorable CS, talks of 1,200 passengers per train. I don't know where you got your number of 6,600 passengers. And wouldn't you agree with me, Honorable Speaker, that it is not just about passengers? So the CS is telling us that 6,600 passengers is equivalent to 460 14-seater matatus. But you and me know 14-seater matatus, 460 of them, employing 2 people each. There are other benefits of having these matatus on the road. It is not just about, the numbers that you're able to transport in one vehicle. But let's go to the answer on the comparison of the cost construction of the road vis-a-vis the rail. Honorable Speaker, there's a schedule that he has given here. So apparently the government prefers spending a total of 9.5 billion Kenya shillings to do 13 kilometers of railway from Ngong to Riruta, as opposed to dualing Bomas to Kiserian, which is a total distance of almost 24 kilometers at a cost of 10.9 billion. Waziri, explain to me as if I was a child. Honestly, if you wanted to decongest Nairobi, you want to open up the city, reduce the pressure on land. We know we have more land in Kiserian than we have here in Nairobi. What is the rationale of spending 9.5 billion to do 13 kilometers of railway, and yet you could use 10.9 to do 24 kilometers of road, dual carriageway from Bomas to Kiserian? So if you can answer those 2 questions, Honorable Speaker, and also touch on allegations, that some powerful people along that route for that railway have somehow secured concessions from your ministry to divert the original plan to avoid their properties. But those who are not powerful enough, Honorable Speaker, they are not being heard at all by the ministry. I thank you.
CS, could you respond to those questions?
Let me first of all thank Senator Sifuna for the compliments, which I don't take for granted, and I'm going to even work harder. But let me get down to the optimal. You know, when you're dealing with a commuter rail, you can optimize because it's just the number of attachments which can be pulled by the engine. And therefore, you can start from as low as 1,200 and go to as high as, depending on the capacity. What you don't do is, depending on whether it's a rush hour, you don't just do the attachments if the population is not there, but you can go to as far as 6,000, depending on the capacity of the engine to pull that weight. The point really, and let me straight say, we will build Bomas Kiserian because that's a new settlement. We'll do all that road as a priority. But we can get to the details on the, Kiserian is really where the people who work in this city live. It's a new settlement. It's an open area. And if we are going to decongest the city in terms of new developments, we see serious development in that area. And we'll be impervious as leaders not to set priority dualing to that very congested narrow road to Kiserian. So I want to confirm that there are works in progress, dualing to be able to decongest people trying to reside in the very small spaces around the city of Bomas Kiserian is a must-do and an urgent project that we must undertake. And because it's a supplementary, I don't have the details, but I can tell you this is a priority road for dualing. But equally, leaders, when you then see the optimized pull from the commuter rail to the road, Matatu, and the congestion that we have, including the BRT, to be able to do the intercity with the understanding that because our city was not planned with a railway or commuter railway, it is very easy for us to have the commuter planned along the Nairobi Railway City. It is very easy to basically go out of the city through Nairobi commuter metropolitan system, which brings in a number of counties in Nairobi who basically where our population reside, in Ngong, in Kiserian, in Kikuyu, Kiambu, all the way down to Murang'a. And then these governors do sit in the Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Authority decision-making process. And therefore, let me just confirm, honorable members, Honorable Sifuna, that Bomas Kiserian is a must-do, and I can come with specific timelines because it's a critical corridor to decongest the city. Equally, even as we thought maybe this line is a least priority, in the latest developments, we really must build a number of lines going eastward, northerly, southwest, and so on and so forth, to basically bring people in and out of the city, either through BRT, through the Nairobi commuter rail system, and facilitate, really remove the congestion that currently is choking the city. So whereas it might be expensive to develop the commuter rail, if you see the capacity we are able to pull, depending on the number of attachment of the units to transport up to 6,600 people, if we do the economics, you'll appreciate why we need both. The buses will stop every so often. The train stations will be further apart, and so on and so forth. So, honorable members, because of the passion of Sifuna to understand what we are doing in Nairobi, and because of the recent development, including the visit to the UK to see the King's Cross development of what the city can look like when you develop a dilapidated facility like the railway housing the railway land, which sits on about 438 acres. I would like to spend time with Sifuna so that as a senator of Nairobi, he can appreciate what we are doing to basically decongest the city, give a new life through development of those 438 acres sitting under the Nairobi, the Kenya Railway, and be able to move people in and out of the city very quickly. And we are doing this as a package. We do not just want to do the railway city. We want to do the BRT lines, including the line that starts from Kenol and which has been stranded for a while, coming through Ruiru all the way to the Nairobi Railway station, and the line going to Kikuyu, the line going to Ruta. There are life plans, including my planned visit to the UK next week. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CS. I think we have exhausted the time that was allocated by Speaker. I will allow just one question because the time for that question has been exhausted. Otherwise, it will be difficult.